And one more again. I gotta give it to him. And look, what's up? Ladies and gentlemen, this is special. This is special. I've had the big homie on my platform on DCACCS Radio once, and for me, it wasn't enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, I see what the big homies continuing to do across the span of generations to generations. And I mean, the man at this point, he talks about everybody else's superpowers, but I would like to believe that the big homie, I mean, his superpowers is, I mean, it's eclectic, it's vintage, it's modern, it's futuristic, it's right now, it's relevant. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only. I mean, the lifestyle specialist, but for the purposes of this right here, DC, a chocolate city store. Yeah, drive it by. Ladies and gentlemen, the lifestyle specialist, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much. How are you, Flex?
Unc, I'm doing good, man. How are you? How the family?
Everybody's solid, you know. Boys just got back from working out. You know, Kenny's going to be announcing soon where he's going to college. And
congrats, early.
Yeah, Kyle's getting ready for his junior year. You know, they won state championship.
Congratulations. Yes.
Yeah. So, you know, just doing it, man. You know what I'm saying? Staying creative.
I see, Unc, and my thing is that you're one of your main characteristics of the Kenny Burns Show is you continue to give out flowers and flowers and flowers. And my thing is, I want to have this opportunity to give you yours. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you will, please, in the comments, flowers. Fellas, if you too hard to throw a flower in there, give my man a fist bump. Give him a fist up in the sky, because Kenny Burns has spanned across decades and decades. And Unc, I don't know if you know, but there's still folks that might, and it's a good problem. Because you've been in Atlanta for so long and been such a pinnacle piece of that culture, it's almost like a forgotten thing that, wait, y'all know that KB from, you know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Born and raised, Columbia Hospital for Women.
So, exactly. So when this, and this Chocolate City story has been sitting on me for years since I got into the city about 7-8 years ago. And the quarantine, it really spoke to me because I was thinking big, like but then I said, why don't I just think from my backyard that I want to give DC folks that have made the Chocolate City what it is and continuing to do their thing in different respective cities, but you guys are deep rooted from the backyards of Washington, D.C. So, I mean, my personal testimony with how I've even got familiar with you before meeting you and becoming pretty much family at this point was the Versace Mansion party. I'm at Morgan State University, right? Yeah, I'm gonna throw another hand clap for him. Because, ladies and gentlemen, the Versace Mansion party, first of all, I was too young to even be viewing this kind of greatness to see that.
How old were you in 2008, Flex?
So 2008, I was 20. I was 20. If it was October, I was turning 21 the following November, the following month. Yeah.
That's crazy.
So I was just surfing the web, and I see this guy, to me, it was a figure, because I said, I've never seen him performing, rapper. Yeah. But I said, first of all, Versace Mansion, I knew what that meant I already knew what that meant at 20, right? But then I see this guy well-dressed, well-groomed, and well-received from his peers, as well as folks that I think Kid Capri was DJing. I think.
No, it was Cassidy, Mick Boogie. Who else was it? I forgot the other DJ.
Well, shoot, here go the real. Kid Capri was there, and I'm feeling like he jumped on or something, because
I don't remember.
I mean, when it comes to you, it's so many people that's in the building that everybody just wants to, you know, show you love and all of that. So
everybody was there for sure. Fat Joe. I mean,
everybody was there.
Yeah, it was a thing.
So that's the thing. That party for me, and me seeing that, I was like, and I was already hosting for 3 years, right? But I said, that right there, I could get with that. I could really, because I felt it. I ain't even meet you yet, but yet I felt it. So I knew that it was real. I knew it was authentic. And I said, you know, so I'm going to meet him one day, and we going to rap. We gonna meet him.
Let me give you a funny story about how I got the Versace party.
Please do.
So another legend from Washington D.C., Mark Barnes,
Yeah.
who you interviewed and just went through a whole bunch of. I didn't even know what was going on until people were sitting like, "Yo, your man." I'm like, "What are you talking about? Like what?" Oh, but anyway, so I'm at Love with Mark Barnes,
right?
And Michael Pelissier and Antonio Suarez were big dogs at Moet Hennessy.
Yes.
At this time, right? So Mark had booked me for something. I just happened to be there for sound check. I want to say it was the Heineken Red Star Soul tour or something. And he was at this table with these dudes. He's like, "Yo, Kenny, come here, sit down, man. You need to meet these guys, blah, blah." So I'm sitting there and they're kind of talking. And Mark was like, "Yo, tell Kenny about that problem you having in Atlanta." And I was like, "What's up, guys?" I was like, "Yeah, we got these Ethiopian guys that are kind of like the mob down there. They won't put our stuff back in their clubs."
Real talk.
Right?
I know what you're talking about, but keep going. Keep going.
I was like, "Oh, you mean AG and them?" He's like, "Yeah, man, I never seen nothing like it, man. Like, this is clearly two of their best products, but they stopped selling Moet Rosé and stopped selling Hennessy and told us that."
So they came at you for a bigger cause. Like, this ain't even about. They came at you.
No, I'm just showing you how
I'm following.
You use, your superpowers. And so he's telling me this, and I'm listening. So whole time I'm texting A, like, "Yo, you got this issue. I'm about to fix it. Let me know the number."
Right.
So he's like, because I know it was a marketing spin. You got to support the world famous.
Absolutely.
It wasn't the world famous compound yet either.
Got it.
So, whatever. So long story short, I end up making the deal where Moet Hennessy got Moet Rosé, their biggest seller in the South, and Hennessy, their biggest seller in the South, back in the club. So when I did the deal, Michael Pelissier was like, "Yo, like, how can we repay you? Like, this is X, Y, and Z on our books, and we want to, now mind you, at this time I'm doing the Heineken Red Star Soul tour, and I'm busting because I was hosting the Heineken Red Star Soul tour, and I was on the marketing agency side."
So long story, no conflict of meaning the spirits world. You know how sometimes. Good.
No, because Alloy was the agency of record for Heineken.
Perfect.
My idea, the Heineken Red Star Soul tour, ended up becoming the thing, and I basically was consulting, and then I got paid to host it. So I was early, right? So you there?
Yeah, I'm there now. Yep.
Yeah. Yep. So I'm telling Michael Pelissier, I'm like, "Yo, I got a party that I want to do, in the fall, and I want it to be, it's a milestone for me. I want it to be, big, and I would love your participation." He's like, "Well, Kenny, look, I can promise you $75,000 in support." So I'm thinking, shit, 75,000, that's a hell of a party. Yeah. 75,000, that's a hell of a party. Until
there you go.
Until, because this is a Belvedere bottle in it.
Right.
But until I found out how much the Versace mansion really cost.
So you did your own little research, and then
so I got the 75,000 committed.
Got it.
Then I went to work. So I'm like, "Yo, regardless of who and what, I'm doing this party. So if I got 75,000 right now, I could go find the rest." But I got to the Versace mansion.
Yeah, you got enough to get things rolling.
Right, but after I got the bobblehead cost, bobblehead was my invitation. I had 300 and something bobbleheads.
It looks expensive, KB. It looks expensive.
It was crazy. I had, gold people, statues. I had Barton G. Cater. So after I went through the whole price, of the party, I was almost at 200,000.
Oh no!
Right?
Oh no!
So, but watch this. This is how you use your superpowers. So
give it to us.
I literally went and I was like, "All right, bet. There's no way I can raise an additional, $100 and whatever $1,000
in the time frame. Like it just wasn't.
It wasn't going to happen because brands, one, you need to be in a relationship. You need to have the direct plug to the You have to have shown them, just like I did for Michael Pelissier and Antonio Suarez, that I could make the moves they needed to get their bottom line.
Yeah, you proved yourself by just organically being you and putting it to play.
So then the lifestyle specialist was newly created, right? I had created this term, the lifestyle specialist, during the Heineken Rest Our Soul days, because they were introducing me in a way that made me seem less as important as I was. So I'm a lifestyle specialist. I'm the ultimate plug. I can put things in perspective for your brand that you cannot. I want to show you how to prove an ROI on lifestyle marketing, which leads me to how I got the rest of the $100 grand. So I went back to Michael Polizzi and Antonio Suarez. I was like, look, I'm the biggest thing that's not on TV. And I'm going to show you, if you will give me the rest of this money, how many impressions in media that you will get. And they were like, what do you mean? And I was like, no, trust me. I am the influencer that influences the influencer that influences the world. And they were like, who do you think you are? Now, mind you, I'm fresh off of 3,000 cases that they were missing.
Yes.
I'm fresh off, and I knew how important that was.
Right.
So I get to throwing Mark in the pot. I get to throwing all of my cats all over the country. I can help you in these markets. They said, Kenny, we're going to give you the money, but you got to use all the brands. Now, you being a spirit guy yourself, you know, companies don't mix brands.
Right. The portfolios of things, like, they're not cross. Yeah, there's no.
They don't mix brands, right?
No.
So this party cost so much money that they had to give me Belvedere, 10 Cane Rum, Hennessy,
the whole portfolio.
They pulled money, Flex, from every budget they could find. I paid for chicken tenders. I had every room for 3 days.
Oh, comp rooms.
No, I had every room besides Gianni Versace's. I think it was 11 or 12 rooms.
Right.
All of my best friends and we occupied that motherfucker for 3 days. Yo. And this was the invite.
See, I didn't know. And I've heard this story plenty of times, but I didn't know that part that you look at that joint hard. The packaging, it's all about presentation. I didn't know that y'all made a damn bro weekend for it, like a great time.
My best friends and our wives owned the Versace mansion for 3 days.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Like, what has it ever been done prior? Has it ever been done after?
I don't think
on that level.
Yeah, you know, it's been done. I mean, people have done parties there. You know, people rented it out. They stayed there. I mean, it's now become a members only, I think, some kind of way. But that party was one for the record of all time.
My first time there, my girl Naya, she took me there for dinner by the water. Like, they have the pool. You already know, playing.
We were in that pool, bro. Like,
oh yeah, I was in that pool.
At the end of the party, everybody in dresses, fully dressed, the gold people all got in the water.
Yo, we were there. Homie walked up to me and her table, playing the violin, setting the ambiance. I mean, it was just an experience.
Wait, I got a surprise for you. Wait,
please. We ain't got no more time. Shout out to everybody in here. Got the unk on. We're gonna get this DC a Chocolate City story, but I just had to revisit the moment that put my mindset on a whole nother wavelength when I saw that Versace mansion party. So I just needed
from the party, right?
Right.
It was so legendary that I made a coffee table book, and I called it The New Black.
The New Black that is from the party.
These pictures are from. That's the inside.
Shout out to Lo in here. It's gorgeous. Yo, that look. Wait, you posted that, but like little snippets of it, right? Like tape, coffee. Wow.
Maybe back in the day, custom suits. I mean, the shit was crazy. Like,
no,
all
it looked like the party.
The people that were there. Yeah, the people that were there sent quotes. I took all the pictures. I had, you know, it was just an amazing thing, man. It was one of the best parties in the history of parties.
And that's what I see. And you know what I'm recognizing now that we're peeling it back about. You made sure, this is where your superpower lies, is that you made sure, guess what, that everybody, including yourself, was happy at the end of this experience. Meaning,
listen,
your corporate
because you know, as a host, it is not about you.
Never.
And what will happen if you let them, Flex, they will erase you. You won't be a part of your own history. People love to put you out. But I've been doing shit like this my entire life. Look at Gabby Moe from Power 3, one of the original rap groups in DC. That's Shakir Stewart. Rest in peace. But like when I tell you, they will never erase me.
No.
I've made sure these motherfuckers won't erase me. You could go all over the internet, nigga, and find happy trails of my existence.
And that, the word, another word to describe you, but not describe you because you can't be described almost, is trailblazer. Like it's almost like you're leaving a trail. The horse is just going, and you're just leaving the footprints in the sand, man. I already,
man. But you know what it's about though? It's about a body of work, man. And look at these prawns. Y'all talking about y'all want some shrimp? We had Barton G. That's fucking sauce in the middle of that bitch. We gold fucking goblets of fucking sauce and fucking shrimp.
Yo, that had to be his, whoever that is biting that had to be his favorite part of the party.
That's Greg Mike. The famous
let me see.
That's Greg Mike.
Well, I was focused on the shrimp.
Greg Mike is huge now, bro.
Already know.
This guy right here, his name was Antonio Suarez. This guy was the head of global marketing. You know how important those people are in those buildings. Somebody hated on me and sent this box because I had all the brands on it. And it was a no-no.
They sent it up the chains?
They sent the box to him hating on me. He came up, we got over a billion impressions on this party. You want to know?
Back then.
No, back then, before social media, like any of that shit. And you want to know why we got the billion impressions?
Why?
Star Jones and this guy right here, Al Reynolds, were the biggest thing in media.
I remember Star Jones.
And they came to the party, paparazzi everywhere. Like, this shit was crazy.
You shut it down. And
we had motherfuckers dressed like this.
Masquerade. Yo, you had Carnival at your joint.
Word.
An experience. I'm telling you, like me just seeing it from the, look at that. Like,
look, you see the millionaire sunglasses, the first Pharrell joints.
Look at that, man. Trailblazer, trendsetter.
No, the funniest shit is this picture. Look at my wife in the background. Like, bitch, I will cut you.
Oh man. Shout out to the queen. Shout out to the queen. No, but look, this is a perfect, because I know we could sit here, or when it comes to your catalog of your contributions, look at that.
I was in my drawers at the end, in that pool on the microphone.
Living your best life in your soul, bro. Like, nah, let me give it up for the Versace Mansion party.
That was big. That was a good time.
No, that was colossal. That was massive. So that's a great segue, because I feel like for me, that was like, that was the intro to you, as well as like the pinnacle. Like I met you virtually through this recap video on your very high from my perspective. Now, mind you, you was definitely already doing it before then, but remember, this is how I'm getting introduced to Kenny. So it's on
first time.
And he's 35. This was 30. I said, young man, rumble.
Yeah.
Rumble. So a lot of people always hear about the part which is great stories, the part, but this is time to tap into Kenny Burns, the little boy. Kenny Burns from Washington, D.C., running wild, right? So let's go back to the Chocolate City from Kenny Burns' eyes. Let's take a trip.
Hold on. I love that I'm in my office, because you can get.
I love it too.
But this is young Kenny Burns.
Author. Hey, author.
Yeah.
Author.
Yeah. I like how you got your pipe. My Uncle Phil.
Man.
This is young Kenny Burns at Wilson High School, right there, number 11. My sons both played. That's me about to block the shot.
Wait, you played ball too,
Yeah, I was nice. I got locked up my senior year, and all the possible scholarships went away.
Right.
So this is me senior year.
We've seen it. Jeez. Senior year. So do you want to start there, or is there some stuff that you would like the public to know prior to, like as a child growing up in the Chocolate City, or do you want to start the timeline from getting locked up senior year, your life change?
Well, growing up in Washington D.C., you know, I had to fight a lot, and I was a single parent home. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you know, D.C.'s 10 miles by 10 miles. Like, it's not like You know what I'm saying? So everybody knows each other. So by the time I got into high school, I had moved away for 2 years to go to Detroit. I came back 10th grade, went to Wilson. And, you know, it was about, you know, the haves and the have-nots. You know what I'm saying? The streets was on fire. Reagan was in office. And, you know, everybody I knew.
Murder capital. It was just it was the nation's capital for a lot of things, right?
Yeah, like they used to have this show called City Under Siege.
That's what Tony Lewis Jr. told.
They used to have this show called City Under Siege, and it was almost like sport, like you wanted to be on there.
I heard.
I never wanted to be on there, but so anyway, long story short, I got caught up in it, you know, and I ain't want nothing but the Gucci tennis shoes from the Madness shop that cost double the price because they didn't sell them at the Gucci store.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You had to go to Jersey or New York to get them. I wanted to have the Gucci links and the Turkish links and just wanted to be fresh.
Right.
I ain't want to be a kingpin, but I you know, much like my profession, I've always known the right people. So I had an opportunity to really go hard. And then when I started to go hard, we had to spot out Frederick, Maryland. And that's when I eventually got locked up. And, you know, this was, you know, the 88 crime bill. Hold on, I'm sorry. I don't know if you remember, but like, you know, that 88 crime bill was a motherfucking in 92. It's what, you know, really got, you know, Tony Lewis's father and them jammed up. But, you know, it was a thing where you looked at life like, you know, you know, if you're going to be in the game, you got to be, you know, ready to give 10. That was the mentality of all of us. And fortunately, when I got locked up, I was in the drug-free zone, which was the scariest shit ever because that was a mandatory. And then, you know, with the other shit, it was like, you know, I never forget being in court and they saying, Mr. Burns, we sentenced you to 20 years.
Excuse me? Wait.
Yeah.
When you heard that, let's put a pause because we're going to continue. When you heard that, just give me the feeling, the emotion. Go back to that moment when you heard that.
I didn't hear nothing else, nigga. You don't go to, I didn't go to jail often, so I didn't know that they read the potential sentence and then give you your actual sentence, right? So the whole time, I'm sitting in the courtroom, God rest my grandmother who died last July 4th, my entire family, coaches, I mean, anybody who I knew, because I was a good kid. I just wanted what I wanted. You know what I'm saying?
Get it.
He sentenced you to 20 years and suspend 19 and 6. And I was like, I'm doing 20. I didn't hear nothing else. I didn't hear suspend 19 and 6. You know what I'm saying? 6 months. And I was like, oh, shit. And so, you know, I really, in that moment, Flex, my whole life flashed.
Flashed, right?
If you are able to get up out this orange jumpsuit and these shackles, you have to figure it out. And so after I had my whatever finished, I ain't never looked back. DC for me at that point was a gift and a curse because, you know, my father was a hustler. You know what I'm saying? Everybody I knew was selling drugs, like going to jail, getting out, coming back selling drugs. And for me, I didn't want that. I tried to, after I graduated high school, that following spring, early summer, I tried to get a job, lifeguard, and I was trying.
Wait a minute, you was a lifeguard?
Oh man, the DC programs.
No, meaning you was gonna get your Kenny Hasselhoff on.
I wasn't. I did it.
Oh, you did it?
Yeah, them summer job programs were amazing. And so that summer,
rumble back, man.
That summer I made good money. Me, Leo, my cousin Claude, like we were all lifeguards, literally right across from Howard at Banneker. So you know, after that, you know, I went to Montgomery Junior College and I was like, I'm gonna try to play basketball again because, you know, JUCOs was a stepping stone to go back to D1.
What position? You're a shooting guard?
I was a combo guard. I definitely ran the point occasionally. By the time I got to JUCO though, I was just still wild, you know what I'm saying? Like partying. I was at Howard all the time, coming to games, you know, have been out all night. But I think for me, I realized that was no longer my dream.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And it really probably just happened like that, right? Where you're like, this ain't it.
The actual moment it happened is I pushed somebody out of the sky going for a dunk. and the whole crowd rushed the floor. And
so it was an electric moment. You knew something was going to change after this right here.
Yeah, because everybody could have fucking died in that motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like, it was one of them things like, why'd you push him, bro? He going up for a dunk. I was like, damn, why did I push him? But fuck you. And then it comes this whole, you know what I mean? And consciously, I knew I was wrong.
Right.
I think I was just, Leo had went off to Morehouse. I was in D.C. without my crew. And I'm sorry, my right hand, I still had my crew, but my crew wasn't doing all the right things. But my right hand wasn't there.
Get it.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so I was just going through like at 20 years old, I was going through a crisis. Like, nigga, you need to figure this shit out. You're going to fucking dumb out. And then that spring, he called me. He's like, you got to come to Freaknik. And the rest is history.
So it's literally Freaknik that weekend, and you saying that you're going to go down just to, check your homies and whatnot. But that was the event that did it.
Yeah, he had set me up like I was Scarface. Back in the day, you had no social media. So people had to go run and talk about the crazy shit you did and who you were. So by the time I came, everybody knew who I was. I had family from the 3 years I lived in Detroit that were there. And so I
lived in D-Town.
Yeah. I got kicked out. I was bad, bro. Like,
but you was on a.
I wasn't bad, like mean spirited. I was just the light skin, dark skin shit was real back in the day.
Realer than what it is.
What? Hey, yo, Flex. It got to the point. Ask Mark Barnes. Mark Barnes would put me and my crew out. Rest in peace, Steve Solomon. We were 16 terrorizing DC, bro.
Oh my gosh.
We were everywhere all the time.
Making a name for yourselves.
Trying, man.
Trying. So then
Monty Lamont Wanzer, rest in peace, another hometown hero. He used to let us carry Biz as crates when we was trying. We was in the street carrying crates for Biz just so we can go to the parties at UVA.
But
and get into
smart.
Chicago.
Y'all were smart. That takes a great level of smarts to even put at that age, to put yourself in those positions to get what you want out of the situation. And while the person that you're going through is still happy with how you, man, that's magic. That's magic.
Yeah, but what I try to tell all my street partners that I've taken out of the street and put into the liquor business, or how have I helped get them jobs, whatever, entertainment. Right. You always recognize the spirit of a person. You could tell, you know what I'm saying? Like, conditioning Amen. Will have you doing things you're not comfortable
Amen.
With or you don't want to do. I never wanted to be no gangster. I swear to you, I'm not going to say the guy's name, but my brother Sabe, who
of course,
he had this partner, right? And I'm making my bones in the streets, and I got it. My plug was the plug, and I'll never forget this. This is when you have to start putting the physical game down. You know what I'm saying? And DC was the murder capital. It was they weren't, it wasn't a lot of fights. It was,
for sure.
But I used to kind of like, I don't know. So long story short, I remember at the Roy Rogers on Georgia Avenue, dog. I don't want to say the dude's name, but anyway, so my man hooked me up with his man.
Right.
And I'm like, yo, like, meet me at the thing. I need because I'm about to, go re-up.
Got it.
And he ain't had my bread, dog. And he tried to give me my work back, cut up, and I took him in that bathroom.
Oh, no.
But I knew I wasn't that guy from that moment on.
It didn't feel like it was coming natural.
Bad. I felt horrible.
Right.
I felt horrible. And literally things, things consecutively started to happen, bad and good. I got locked up. I needed to see that. I needed to see what I wasn't. The whole junior college thing, and leading me to Atlanta was, the best thing that ever could happen. Because sometimes I'm going to tell you this about our city, man. Especially then. And now it's way more progressive, where multiple people can have the museum and have madness and have, like brands, and you can have multiple promoters and everybody can eat.
Right.
DC wasn't like that. DC wasn't like that.
It was one of every category.
Yeah, you had people that did. I mean, you had people, but you had to really be a part of the heartbeat of the city, and that was the drug culture. The hustlers ran the city.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? What Squares was doing and all that other shit, I know nothing about. But as far as like DC, what go-go culture was, and and ultimately still is, that was all street oriented. But it's amazing looking at it now, because I even remember, when Robin, the owner of Ball Alert, and my sister told me about Wale.
So let's go there.
she said she heard Alizé playing this record, right? And said the nigga could rap like shit. That's what she hit me. Yo, this Bama could rap like shit, you know, Robin.
Yeah.
DC to the death.
And Alizé in here. Shout out to Alizé.
Shout out to Alizé. And so he was, you know, like, I mean, she was telling me about, you know, this nigga, right? So I'm at Rockefeller Records, and I wanted to sign UCB before I wanted to sign.
That was your first interest, right?
Sexy Lady, I wanted to sign them to Rockefeller.
Shout out to Trey. Big up
Trey, UCB, Rock Mikey, Eric, the whole crew. I ended up coming, I heard Wale. I was like, damn, this Bama can really go. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, where are you from? And she was like, Largo or something. I was like, because the DMV wasn't created yet, by the way.
Got it.
And if you weren't from DC and you were a real DC guy, you had issues with anything claiming DC that wasn't born at the Columbia Hospital for Women or born, you know. So,
tell the story.
So I was like, Largo. I was like, damn. So Power 3, big shout out to Casa and Gabby, Mo, and the whole Power 3 crew. And a big shout out to Old Boy, because Old Boy, my right hand, Omar, everybody know Old Boy. But you know, he was tight with them. And I was for the love of DC, I would always try, but it'd always be something. I'm talking about Frankie, like I had Frankie, and I was taking Frankie, and I, you know, went to Capri, Italy with Mariah. I was like, Frankie should come out here and write for you, and you know what I'm saying? We should sign him to Monarch Music. And this is when I was working with Mariah Carey. And it never kind of panned out. And then Power 3, I wanted to sign them because it was DC, and I just always wanted to sign something DC, which led me to Wale. But the thing that sold me on Wale,
talk to us.
The thing that no one else had ever done. I mean, Nonchalant, big shout out to my homie. It was people that broke through and did things.
Right.
But nobody ever mastered the go-go hip-hop fusion.
Got it.
And I heard these records done by Southeast Slim. And everything I heard on Wale, I was like, fuck all that. What's this? How can we take this and make it Ya Mean, right? And so, again, Wale was a backpack rapper. Like, he's a rapper's rapper. Like, he is conscious. He is giving you all the metaphors.
His pen is serious.
One of the best ever.
One of the best.
So, and that's however you feel about him. Facts are facts. But I heard this Dig Dug record. Now, I come up on Northeast Groove's Backyard in Essence. Like, even Junkyard Band with Sardines early on, but like that's my era. So I'm hearing the Dig Dug record, off the muscle, and the way he had the beat pro, and I'm like, oh shit, and I'm like, fuck. I was like, that's it. I was like, that's it. That's the motherfucking records.
The lightning bolt in the bottle right there.
No question. I went to Robin. I said, get Abdul on the phone because Mark wasn't hearing me. Yes, Mark, I came to you first.
It's the fact.
He wasn't hearing me. I went to Abdul. I was like, Abdul, yo, I need Platinum. This is when Platinum was rocking.
On F Street. Platinum on F Street.
So we did this mixtape called Paint a Picture. And
so is this pre-Nike boots? Are we at Nike boots yet?
This is pre-Nike boots.
So this is well before.
Yeah.
Got it.
This is Paint a Picture, my nigga.
Got it.
Like, paint a picture, you know, like Zay was the DJ, fucking Sneaker Dan, fucking what's the light-skinned nigga name? Crucial. Nigga, I actually the character Rick Bon Jovi I made came from this nigga's Crucial. What is the nigga name? Somebody who knows him.
Alizé in here, maybe.
Alizé, what's light-skinned dude name that you say Crucial? Yeah, J Promo.
Promo.
So we had this mixtape and we went everywhere. I'm talking about everywhere. Now,
it shot right off.
No, I went to everybody in the city. Circle Boys, Oi Boys, fucking the old school niggas, the Power 3 niggas, everybody who did rap. And I was like, listen, this nigga is from Largo. He's not from DC, but he's with me. And we gonna put this whole thing together with DC, Maryland, Virginia. I want to say Wale created DMV, to be honest, because
big statement.
No. I mean, people
No,
can fact check.
That's why I tell. Let's do the
Well,
story.
I can tell you this: if he didn't create DMV, then the actions of our effort created DMV.
Right. Spark the brain.
But I want to say somebody in our crew made the actual name up, and it could be on those mixtapes. I don't know. But long story short, we took this formula. We went everywhere. I introduced them niggas to anybody I knew, but the key was Abdul. And I'm gonna tell you why. Big shout to Abdul Productions.
Abdul.
Because nigga, we did that motherfucking platinum. And when I tell you the city was never the same for Wale, this nigga, and you can fact check it, and Alizé know, but I think it was like every week. Because, you know, Go-Go played.
This wasn't one time. This was a consistent thing.
No. The thought was Go-Go plays every week. Every week.
Right.
People used to go certain places every week to hear their favorite Go-Go bands sing the same shit and add on a song every other month.
But it's just a culture that's like none other, right? Right.
And bro, like it literally, but then we started going to, like, we went down, I think Hampton with Backyard, because, you know, he had that one thing about a player.
Right.
And that was the next record that went fucking nuts. And it was magical, man. But, you know, that was the first time I felt like, wow, DC, because, you know, what Wale and Sneaker Dan and them was doing was different. It wasn't DC. Like, it was DC. It's DC now, but it wasn't what DC was doing. And I embraced it because sneaker culture was always a part of, you know, Wale's game. Like, he brought that. Because DC, to be very crucially honest, like, we wore certain shit. We wore Timberlands. We only wore the wheat ones or the black ones. We wore
only those.
We wore white or black shoes. We didn't get in my day, the only venturing out was New Balance, which we didn't really get colorful because gray was the standard. And then Gucci's. The Gucci's. You know what I'm saying? Because they had red and a green pair. The black and white was already off rip but then they had and so I really credit him for putting DC on to just other shit because before him,
he was thinking ahead already. And would you say that the climate in the city, especially because of the time, where it was like, if it ain't DC, then we ain't really, which ain't really a bad way to look at it when you peel it back. But Wale's one of the first for it to be an idea to venture out from a trendy type of situation and whatnot.
I think it's because DC, Maryland, and Virginia were involved in the discussion.
Got it.
Having the DMV versus just this 10 mile by 10 mile district was a bigger audience. I could take credit for being one of the first flag bearers for the city, and I moved to Atlanta so I wouldn't get in no trouble and try, you know, but I became a fashion maven, you know what I'm saying, from leaving DC and Versace, you know, I love to call DC the drive-through, by the way.
Tell us why drive-through.
Because people used to come to Howard University, take our girls, get inspired by us in our hustle game, the way we dressed, and they took it and they put other remix. I mean, if you listen to Herbie Love Bug's whole first successful offering was Go-Go. Yeah, Salt and Pepper record, all that shit was Go-Go. If you look at like Biz Markie, if you look at Heavy D and the Boys, Mr. Big Stuff, all that shit was DC.
Right.
And so, you know, and mind you, we did back in those days, like the Coca-Cola shirts, we wore in colors and we would match those with Air Force One. So we did have color Air Force One. But anyway, so long story short, you know, I went to Atlanta and I you know, this was Versace. Like DC had a certain look, it was black, gray, and white.
Right.
And then if you dressed up, it was Iceberg, Versace, it was this whole thing. And I left and I took that. I went nuts with it because I started getting some real money legally. But I give that credit to Wale though.
Look at that. So was that Studio 43 time? Tell us about how Studio 43 came about.
Yeah, man. So Studio 43, 2620 is the address in DC where we used to hang out and hustle.
Got it.
It was my man TJ and Randy's spot. And you know, when I did my first piece of business, I made that the name of the company. I didn't do good business, and the lady ended up taking it from me when I did the Dream deal. And so that I did with Bad Boy. So long story short,
the second female highest selling female group or
ever. Yeah, only one in front of them was Spice Girls.
Crazy.
So this is bigger than Destiny's Child, any girl group. So, but yeah, so I created Studio 43 because back in DC, we would always in the go-go pictures hold up 4-3. 4-3 meant forever.
Got it.
So I always liked the movie and the movement of Studio 54, just in theory, like the ultimate experience. So I took, you know, what I knew, put studio in front of it, and that's when I came up with Studio 43. I mean, besides the lady took my name, and I had to come up with a new name. But yeah.
But I love it. But guess what? The roots of it is from Washington D.C. The chocolate.
Yeah. No question.
So now you're in Atlanta, right? At this point, we're on the timeline of, so DC, you're down there, like AG, that relationship bubbling is going well. What was a clear difference from the A and the Chocolate City, Washington D.C. from your perspective? Like, what hit you first, where you're kind of homesick a little bit from this moment that you're experiencing in Atlanta, just because you know that DC offers it like nonstop? Like, what was that?
You know what? Atlanta's Chocolate City too, though. You know, I mean, when I came here, black mayor, black police chief.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And
right, exactly.
It was the biggest cluster of historically black colleges I had ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So you think like Howard University which is the holy grail of HBCUs, HU, you know. I know you'd got Morgan.
Would you have went there? Let me real quick interject. Would you have went? No, if you stayed in DC, you wouldn't have ended up, because of all that was going on in your environment.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been able to stay away from the streets. It was too easy. You know what I'm saying? I met my wife. I met my wife who went to Howard, graduated cum laude though. So one time for Howard, you know what I mean? Actually, yeah, her that's Kenny's diploma. You know, but yes, I equate Atlanta at that time to DC, but more, right? Because again, DC is 10 miles by 10 miles. You uptown, south side, northeast, northwest, you done. You know what I'm saying? Like, but if you think about this historically black college center, the Atlanta University Center, and all these people, and then everybody who's black is in Atlanta. I'm talking about, like, you know what I'm saying? From sports stars to rappers. Criss Cross, when I went, just sold 4 million records. TLC just came out. LaFace was on fire. So Def was starting. Rowdy Record, you know what I'm saying? So you looking at life like...
I'm spending just thinking about how crazy that amount of because those were all whirlwinds in themselves. Like,
that's when Atlanta, so to give you some context, that's when Atlanta, the Atlanta we know today, that's when Atlanta started. My first year in Atlanta.
Which was what year, if you don't mind? Like
92.
92.
Nigga, your skin gonna be just like mine when you get my age. Don't worry about it.
Oh yeah, I'll take care of it, man.
Niggas be like, you was popping in 92, so you gotta be.
So it was immediately, and thank you, by the way. Thank you.
Yeah.
It was immediately the Chocolate City Part 2 to you. Like, you was like, I'm right at home. I'm at home again.
Well, what I wanted to build for myself and my team, I was able to do in Atlanta. You know, DC at that time still had that crab in the barrel mentality, and they wouldn't let go of it. You know what I mean? They still don't. I mean, to this day, DC, first of all, ain't the same. The gentrification is real. I come home. Every time I come see you motherfuckers 2, 3, 4 times a year, it's something different about something. So to see y'all, to see Mark, to see, you know, people still on the radio that I known from then, and that's all the blessing, because it feels like home when I hear voices or I see people. But that city is different, bro. But yeah, no, Atlanta allowed me to, and embraced me, and allowed me to really grow as an executive, man, and find my heartbeat, you know?
And you got it. So DC or Atlanta party scene, let's put them on a slight, like, we don't need to say that, oh, Atlanta's better than DC or DC better, but what kind of offerings does Atlanta give the patrons that come in, and what kind of offering from your experiences whenever you come back home to DC, Howard Homecoming, whatnot, what are the 2 separate offerings from DC Party Nightlife and Atlanta?
DC held the title until I left. Not that I had anything to do with it. I participated, but I wasn't the promoter. But because of Mark Barnes, Steve Solomon, Danny Davis, Ron DeBerry, I'm missing some people, but you know, when you think about, you know, fucking
Abdul,
Monty Wazer, Abdul, you know, I'm trying to name everybody, all the DJs, Trini, like all the DJs that DC has such an international flavor at every party It made it special. And I don't know if you remember them days, but your fucking reggae set was as important as your fucking.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
That 25 minutes better be hot.
And then, you know, that was the era of like, you play everything. You have your house. And so DC couldn't be matched in that era. But I took what I learned in DC, and I did that at the Funk Clinic every Friday night at the warehouse. The most famous, most infamous party in the AUC ever.
And that was during your introduction almost, during your introduction time to Atlanta.
I went to Freaknik, came home, did what I had to do to get an apartment for the year to pay it up in advance, got back through my first party, second week of school. It was so impressive that the guy down the street who owned the Phoenix, which eventually became the warehouse, was like, yo, whoever put this together, I want them to promote my shit.
Wow.
End up getting with Rhonda Berry and somebody else. I forget the brother's name. If you're on here, forgive me, say it out. I'll shout you out. They had Luke.
Don't stop, pop that, don't stop, pop that.
So they were like, yo, we could bring him to Atlanta. We got the package. I was like, done. Hooked him up with the dude. Dude was like, yo, you bringing us Luke? We couldn't get Luke. I'm like, I got you. Through the party. Got banned from Spelman's campus the next day because some crazy shit went down.
Damn.
Yeah. No, I took my pants down on stage. He had this shit. I was 20 years old. I was out of control. Luckily there were no camera phones back then. For me to be all over, pause would be all over the place. Yeah. But yeah, so we you know, I took what I learned from DC to Atlanta, applied it, and the rest is literally history. But I think Atlanta became the party capital because of the people from all over the country in all four of those historically Black colleges and universities.
It helps drive the culture of nightlife. The
messaging would go home every time they did. Yo, I was in fucking the warehouse. This nigga Kenny had an afro wig on in a hockey jersey. He started throwing this shit. Like, and that the rest is history. We bought everybody first. The Big Mac promo, Big and fucking Craig Mack, Jay-Z 22 Tools, anybody, Snoop Dogg in the Chronic tour. We had the tour from a DC nigga, not a white man, who had the package and sold it to me and my man. I was 21 years old. And Snoop got locked up. It was going to be at the Omni here. That's when Atlanta had the Omni, not
the Omni.
The Omni, yeah, which Dominique used to play. Hello?
I've always heard about the Omni.
Yeah, so we had that with Jodeci, Snoop Dogg, and it got canceled because that's when he went to jail. But yeah, bro, my.
But I already know. But that's why that's why I love it that this being DC, a chocolate city story, somehow with all of your flavorful stories, it always comes back to somehow DC, either mentality or 100%. Just enriching feeling that you get. So let me ask you this. Okay, we got about 10 minutes. Yeah, fly it through. Yo, what is that? Let me see that again. What is that?
On my show, I'm always picking up shit.
I've never seen that one. I always see the bobblehead though.
Oh, this is this is the Hebrew Brantley, an artist out of Chicago that I really love. He's a dope guy, and I got several pieces of his in the house. Paintings too. Yeah.
I love it. Favorite cities, and you not in our order. So now we're gonna do a little rapid fire so that we can wrap it up like that. Because KB, you can be on this thing for 365 days, just stories and stories and stories. So which is a beautiful thing, because you, like I said, you're trailblazing. You're leaving your footprints in the sand day at a time, one day at a time. Favorite cities to host, not DC, not Atlanta. Just give me 5 that stand out where your experiences are like none other every time that you travel there.
You know, I have outer body experiences in pretty much every city I go.
You could be in Kentucky and make it something.
But I love Memphis. I love Detroit. I love Charlotte. You know, Charlotte is a vibe. I love Chicago. And I gotta say it, man, like, I love St. Louis. Like, it's market. I'm sorry. I would have to put Houston before St. Louis. Only because I've done more parties in Houston.
Right. But that's
good. Those 5 cities, like, you know, and what I don't think people really realize, man, like a guy from DC made it so that people even like yourself could go across the country and get paid to talk shit on the mic and make people feel amazing in that moment, get the messaging off for the clubs, the sponsors, then introduce a whole lifestyle of ambassador programs for companies that now pay, you know what I'm saying, to have people like you.
But that's why you're the lifestyle specialist. You're the specialist of the specialists at this point. Like, I don't know if you realize, but you're a perfect example of somewhat of a middle child. And I love to give these scenarios because you being so tenured in the game, you move today in 2020 as if you're just trying to get put on. Like you starting that Kenny Burns show, that's you trying to get put on all over again as far as the drive and what makes you do it. Your relationships are there, but your mind automatically goes into, okay, we're going to be quarantined for a while. I'm going to figure this thing out. And you figured it out. So let me give you, I haven't heard a clap in a little bit, so just want to give you a clap on that. So,
you know what's, you know, I think creators, this to all the creators on the call, on the live.
Talk to them.
You have to be able to adapt and adjust. You have to be able to pivot and not only have this, you know, the skill to do that, but you have to know when. 2 days into the pandemic, I lost about $125,000 in events, right? And this is before Essence was canceled. So you can imagine how much I'm out, right? Mm. And so I'm like, yo, that's a real nut. I have to figure out, you know what I'm saying? Like the next pivot, because we don't stop. You can't stop. I mean, you know, and I hope all you entrepreneurs took advantage of PPE and the other things that would afford it to business. And I hope you, if you didn't, you now know that paying your taxes and reporting all of your income can help you in times like this.
Right.
So, you know, we were blessed to be, you know, to be straight and not have to go real deep in none of that and just to keep moving. But then I was like, wait, I have to still give the people the offering. I have to connect and inspire and frame culture. Because, you know, you always give me these compliments when I come. He's like, yo, I don't want nobody talk shit like you, Unc. I hate you calling me Unc too, by the way. But you always tell me that. Because I'm not that old, but I am. I'm old.
It ain't, but you know, it's a level of endearment I'm giving.
So, but my point is, I talk to people in a way that I want them to leave so full and inspired, right?
Right.
And you know, because you know, I stop the shit and talk. I stop the shit and play a song to express my feelings in the way that I'm feeling that time in the club, whether it's
the maestro. The maestros, like
whether it's Elvis Crespo Suavemente or if it's fucking, you know what I'm saying, Piece of My Love by fucking guy. I don't give a fuck if it's the turn up time or not. I'm gonna give you the emotion. So I figured, how can I do that on IG Live now? Amazing. And I was like, okay, the Kenny Burns show. Now, mind you, Kenny Burns show is 12 years. I started and stopped because when we did the Versace Mansion, I was doing on the Heineken Red Star Soul Tour. I would take you with me and tell you where I ate and where I stayed. And so, you know, it's just God's way of telling you, creative, sometimes you got to sit the fuck down and process how to continue without the normal ways of continuing. Like we don't know what's happening after this. I do know that I have 4 networks calling me about something I sat down and decided to do. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, you gotta just put one foot in front of the other. And I think if I'm nothing to my mentees other than being a model of, you know, having social currency and using my relationships the right way. Right. Then if I'm only that to y'all, that's more than I can ever give you, because that's the most important thing.
And that's such a powerful way to wrap this up. Chapter 5, the lifestyle specialist. Last words for the Chocolate City.
Adore by Prince. You know I play that shit in a heartbeat. And then big shout. I don't look like an Unc. That's why I told him earlier, his skin, he gonna age like me. You feel me?
Cause it's a lot of coconut water, you know.
It's a lot of water. It's just a lot of healthy alternatives.
There's a lot of healthy alternatives. Last remarks to the Chocolate City. Like, where do you want to see Chocolate City go to out there? Talk to Chocolate City for the next minute.
I want to see our city, you know, to become an actual city and not a district. I want to figure out a way that we can venture out land-wise and grow a little into PG County, grow a little into Virginia. I want that for us, because I just think we need the space. 1, 2, I'd like the mentality of the city to not change after this pandemic and after you know, these protests. I want to hold our, I mean, that's where all the senators are. That's where the president is.
Political playground. It's a political
playground. I want you guys to continue after this is over, because this will calm down and we will get back to whatever the new normal is. But you have to keep fighting. You have to keep holding them responsible. That is your city. They work for you, and you do not let them put you on the outskirts of your fucking city. You paint every street Black Lives Matter.
How you felt when you saw that? Because DC started that.
I was proud. And DC, let's stop being negative, man. I want to address that Mark Barnes shit, because I don't agree that young lady did that right. So I'm gonna say that, and whoever can hit me is fine. But you know, we gotta stop this whole cancel culture, man. DC was bred on that shit. That crab in the barrel mentality. You don't know one person that's living that's done more for Washington D.C. than fucking Mark Barnes. Not one. Not one. So I get it. I get all of y'all want to go viral and all of y'all want to have this message of clarity and you woke but listen, please stop the cancel culture. Cancel culture will only make you end up being canceled yourself.
And that's the way we're gonna wrap it up. Yo, big homie, because I'm gonna get it into my vernacular to stop saying because I understand what kind of strings I pull from you inside of you when I say
you know what? I'm actually getting old now, so I love you too, and I appreciate you, honestly.
Thank you. No, honestly, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for joining. Continue to trailblaze, man. That's what you're doing at this point, man.
Love. Save the lives. Get off. Save the lives. Save it.
Save it. There it is. Of course. Love. Right. Thanks, KB.
Love. Peace. Love. Peace.
Peace.